The real challenge is just different parenting styles and different personalities. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like probably hardest on the kids because they have to go back and forth between two totally different households that have different rules, different expectations and things like that. So it definitely wasn't easy. But I think that, my hope is that both households have their own important things to teach the kids so that they actually end up being maybe more well-rounded because they've had 4 parents instead of 2.
Welcome to the Let's Not Sugarcoat It podcast,
where every week we bring you real, raw, and unfiltered conversations
designed to motivate and inspire you on your journey through motherhood, relationships, and career.
We're your hosts, Alex
and Bella.
Thanks for spending this time with us.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it, ladies.
Let's.
Ryan was giving me heck for not knowing how to read. Sorry, English is not my first language, but I'm still going to read the bio, Ryan. Okay. So are you guys ready? Because today we have Pamela Pearson in the house. Woo! Okay. So here we go. Here's her bio. So Pamela is the Director of Operations for Sentes Automotive. Okay, it's the Polish automotive, okay? And has dedicated the past 15 years to HR, team culture, event planning, IT management, facilities, and overall dealership operations. In 2007, Pamela graduated with a Bachelor of Arts Education, taught for a year, and then realized that the education system was not for her. It is not for me either. I cannot teach my children. Next was a self-described failed attempt at car sales that lasted only 6 weeks. So she began to assist COO Adam Rich with operational tasks. She now oversees 3 dealerships and nearly 200 employees. Pamela takes pride in creating and supporting structure and processes and creating a great work environment for the dealership's team. Yay, to processes and structure, which we are not. So maybe we'll learn something today. In the past several years, Pamela has become more involved in our community as the chair of BC Cancer Foundation's Discovery Luncheon, chair of committee member from 2012 to 2020, president of the Kelowna Chambers of Commerce from 2022 to 23, and director since 2019. And still heavily involved as immediate past president. In the past years, she has been nominated as Kelowna Chamber's Top 40 Under 40. I wish I did, but now I'm like 43, so there goes my
now
dream.
We just nominate
40 over 40.
Exactly.
And the City of Kelowna Citizen of the Year. She won the Volunteer of the Year award from the Chamber of Commerce and most recently won the prestigious Kelowna Women of Business award in 2023 Woman of the Year. Yes, she did, and we were there to cheer her on. She is enjoying having the opportunity to give back to the community that has given so much. Pamela looks forward to helping her company become a highly desired employer in 2024 and beyond, educating our young professionals on the value of the chamber, continuing to be engaged in our local community, and inspiring those around her to get involved and be the best they can be. Welcome, Pam.
Welcome.
You
did so good.
You so well.
I know. I was like, man, the last bit, I'm like, I'm giving
You're
her.
giving it.
So good.
Wasn't it also your birthday? Didn't I see a post about
Yesterday.
that?
Yes. Happy birthday.
41 now.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, so she'll be in the top 40 over 40.
Yeah.
I have to wait till I'm not part of the chamber to actually be nominated. So
Is that
next
a thing?
year? Yeah.
Oh.
Just, the judges are separate, but not the chamber. But just for appearance sake, we try to make sure that there is no appearance of favoritism or anything like that. So,
Oh, okay.
Just the appearance.
just
But
gotta-
there's actually favoritism.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
I have to wait my turn.
Oh, your time will come.
Well, listen, Linda, honey, I love that. What the heck? You are one amazing freaking woman. Like, when do you sleep? When do you eat? Tell us a little bit about what it is that you do.
Well, based on how I feel right now, I could have a nap like right here on the table. sleep is kind of not really that existent in my life. Unfortunately, I don't sleep that well in general, but I do try to go to bed fairly early because I get up early to go to the gym and try to fit all the things in. So,
yes, we were just discussing our gym
morning
and how Pamela does not like when somebody takes her spot. So whoever's in Pam's class,
get out.
Do not sit in my spot.
Yeah, do not sit in her spot
She goes a half an hour early to claim her spot. I love that.
Yeah. So tell us
commitment.
Right? It is commitment. Yeah.
To being neurotic, maybe.
Well,
it's okay.
It's okay. We all have our vices.
At least I can admit it.
Yeah.
To tell us a little bit more. So you're a mom, a wife. How many children do you have? Because all we see is Pamela Pearson, Woman of the Year. She's here. She's there. She's everywhere.
I do have 2 boys, Cade and Kale. They are almost 21 and 23.
How did you look too young for this?
I'm a bonus mom. They are bonus kids to me. So I've been with them for just about 14 years.
Oh, wow.
And I met them when they were 7 and 9. And
fun years.
Became it was a fun challenge.
A fun challenge, which she was up for. Yes.
Yeah.
And I have a husband named Darcy who I'm so grateful for him because he's so supportive of me doing all of the things that are important to me outside of the home. And so, he's there rooting me on and making me delicious dinners. He's the chef in our house. That's one talent I was born without. So he is an amazing cook, made me an amazing birthday dinner last night. So,
Amazing.
Well, what did he make?
Yeah.
We had crab.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like a crab feast.
Yeah.
Darcy.
In New Year's Eve of last year, I had crab for the first time, and I was like a child, like getting the crab out of the shells and so excited. And so, he made me that for my birthday dinner. It was very delicious.
Nice.
Yum.
I'm actually getting used to like Lee cooking. Because I've been so busy and he's been home a little bit earlier each weekend because, events and all that kind of stuff. And I'm actually stepping out of the kitchen because we had a bit of a conversation about, him wanting to do something for me and then me always coming in and I'll just make the potatoes. And one time I made the freaking potatoes and I put them in the oven and he then peeled potatoes. I forgot to tell him. He peeled the potatoes and he turned on the oven, burnt the potatoes that already were in there. And we got so mad that I just kiboshed his plan.
Right.
So the last few times on the weekends, I've stepped out of the kitchen, even though I really, really, really wanted to. But I needed to give him that space. And, he came and he's like, I really appreciate you allowing me just to learn how to time manage. And because, he's like, I'm in the kitchen struggling, but you didn't, step in. Because
you didn't micromanage.
I did not micromanage.
Good for you. I feel like cheers to that with our waters here, folks.
Cheers. Tea.
Coffee.
Coffee, tea. No mimosas today.
That's good. Good
actually,
for you.
I was listening to one of the podcasts you did the other day, this morning, while I was working, and I was like, do I get mimosas too? That's my favorite thing, especially with your ratios of how you make them. That's right up my alley. Next time.
Oh, have you seen those Instagrams where it's like, send this to a friend and it's like a spray bottle of the orange juice?
Yes, one little spray.
I think we're taking a break from, this last little bit, the events just have been nonstop, after COVID, right? It just everything exploded and we're all fighting for people to come to events.
Yes.
Because, because you manage events, you speak at them, you host them. How are you finding this transition into
all the events?
I was the secretary of the of the chamber during COVID. The president in 2020 basically got to do absolutely no events, didn't get to really speak at anything. Everything was Zoom. Felt really bad for him. So then 2021 came and we're like, okay, let's pretend that 2020 didn't happen. Everybody stay in the same positions you are. And so the president stayed the president. And he still didn't get to do anything for that whole year. And then I became the president the following year. And our very first board meeting of the new board term was when everything opened up. And I was able to like actually host a board meeting in person.
Yeah.
And then it's been crazy since then, chamber things for me specifically, but then like all of the other things that are going on. And the more involved you get in the community, the more things there are to do.
Totally.
And so like, yeah, trying to figure out what you have time for, prioritize which ones you want to be at. And sometimes you just have to say no, even if your FOMO is large.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of did that this month. There was I was like, I'm going to go to a certain amount. And then when I had my kids, I was like, I'm going to go to less that week, even though there was stuff happening that I wanted to go to. Because this one week I had my kids, I realized I was out 4 nights of the week. And I'm like, well, that's a lot when you only get them every other week. I was like, meh.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I can tell that there is a desire for connection. People are wanting to get out and do things and connect with people, but you can tell that people are wanting more of the like intimate types of events where they can like sit down and get to know people. So those types of events I find are very popular. And then the ones where it's like, a lot going on. Sometimes those ones are the ones that people are like, I might just not pick that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we just had our event
on Thursday.
Yep. And we got some phenomenal feedback because we're doing things a little bit differently. We're not just a networking event.
Yes.
We're doing workshops and providing people with tools. And then, the conversation that happened at the end when we were doing the workshop were so empowering. And
people cried and like, it was so good.
So, and people felt when they left, they didn't feel alone. And that's the whole, purpose of this, that we're all in it together. And just having women share their stories. You are inspiring somebody who might think, I'm just doing this by myself.
Right.
Yeah. And there was one girl there that and her husband were there, and we did a like co-ed event.
Oh yeah, that was pretty fun.
That was fun because you got to kind of see the dynamics of how we interact, because there's a lot of women-only events.
Yes,
that's why I like the chamber actually, because then there's guys and girls there, so that's nice.
That's only because you're looking to hook up. No, just kidding.
But I do like that vibe of the chamber. There is like the men and the women.
Yes.
It's like, it's just, there's a lot of women only ones here, which is great, but there's a lot.
Well, and I think that it's good that there is a variety because, different events appeal to different people at different times in their weeks, months, years. And so sometimes you do want to get out and be around sort of a mix of people. And sometimes you do want to just have a ladies only event like I'm having on Thursday.
Yeah.
I love your events. Yeah. They're intimate events.
Yeah, I do. I really enjoyed last time when we went on the wine tour.
Yes.
It was fun because, you on a bigger scale, yes, we chat and we socialize and hello. But this one, because we're on the bus and you're sitting next to somebody and you're sharing,
the space.
I got to know some ladies pretty, intimately. And it was nice because it's like, holy man, we have stuff in common. And now you have that bond and that relationship.
The bond, I love that. Yeah. And then this is the second one I've done this year of a wine, like a full day wine tour where most people don't know each other, maybe have like cross paths at events or whatever. But to see at the end of the day, people who maybe didn't know each other at the beginning are now
best friends.
Yes. and like can be your safe place if you need one at the next event. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here.
Yeah.
And the more of that community you have, in my opinion, like the better life is. And I never really thought that I needed that or that I was missing that. I moved to Kelowna in 2002 to go to school. And I'm like a head down, work hard. I had like 5 jobs to put myself through university. And I mean, you create some relationships with the people you work with or like customers or whatever. But I never had this like rally of people that you feel are really supportive for you until the last few years, like being part of the chamber and some of the other things. And I love the feeling of that support and then being able to give that support back. It makes life better.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It does, definitely. I know, because when we moved here in 2 years and a bit, 2.5, can we say half?
I think half now.
Yeah. I don't know. We like bonded, and quickly we found our community and just the support. You know, we were both going through stuff and we could lean on each other and lean on the people around us. And it was a good feeling where in the previous cities, I mean, yes, you had your friends, but it wasn't as like everybody had their things to do.
Right.
It's not like, oh my gosh, I really need your help. Can you come and help me? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
Here, I can reach out to multiple women if I'm in a bind, or they can reach out to me.
Right.
And we're there for each other.
What a great feeling.
Right?
Totally, yeah.
So good.
It's awesome. So tell us a little, because now I'm curious. So you have you have like adult men in your house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how is that?
I mean, it's actually great. There were the teenage years that are a struggle, I think, for most families. They're especially split households because they go the same as you, back and forth. It's very challenging to have the separate households and navigating how to co-parent and do all of those things. But as they get older, it's like they come back around part. And that's kind of where we're entering right now, where, you almost can create a friendship now, whereas before you really want to be, the parent and the role model and all of that. Now it is turning into that, friendship. So it's great.
Yeah.
So
Jane.
Go.
I was going to say, well, tell us a bit about like what it was like to navigate co-parenting. Tell me more.
I think the real challenge is just different parenting styles and different personalities. And I think it's like probably hardest on the kids because they have to go back and forth between 2 totally different households that have different rules, different expectations and things like that. So it definitely wasn't easy, but I think that, my hope is that both households have their own important things to teach the kids so that they actually end up being maybe more well-rounded because they've had 4 parents instead of 2. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll ask them how they really felt about it.
Right. As you enter later in this friendship phase.
Or they'll tell you themselves,
Yeah.
I can't believe you did this to me.
Exactly.
So tell us one moment in your earlier parenting that was really difficult, that made you, kind of question everything.
Well, I'm an all-in kind of person, if you haven't gathered that about me yet. So even early on, when Darcy and I decided to be together, I wasn't going to be in the household just to be dad's wife or girlfriend or whatever. Like, I'm a parent in this house. And they were very respectful of that, but and it was actually really good. However, when it came to things like field trips and, doing some of those things where having all 4 parents want to do things that there might only be spot for one person, and I'm the bonus mom, so you want to be respectful of that. I wanted to be, in there like a dirty shirt where sometimes that wasn't always welcomed. And, they're my only children. I don't have biological children. And so this is what being a parent is for me. And so having to only be able to be part of certain things was just challenging because I wanted to be able to be part of it all. So it was learning to when to take a step back and be okay with not being in it, you know?
Right.
So I think you can kind of relate on the not being for like Halloween, right? Because we always did Halloween together, and this year you didn't have your kids. So I was even affected. I'm like, what the heck?
Right.
Like, where are your children? Because we did Halloween, but because, you're going through a separation, it was hard on me. And I'm like trying to be, my kids are like, why is we're always going together? And I'm trying not to, I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. Like, I'm just like, well, they're with their dad. Da, 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 da. Well, why can't they just come with us? I'm like, because they just can't. Because they just can't. Yeah. Right. So I can totally, see, and, there was some emotion around that as well. And I'm sure it was much harder for you, Alex, than it was for me. But for us as friends who, we were friends from the beginning, our kids have been friends from the beginning, it affected my family as well. So I can just imagine feeling a little, left out.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
So, it's
like you just need to take one day at a time, one step, one foot in front of the other, and just always try to make the best decision with the information that you have at the time, and try to remember that the kids are struggling through this too. So,
I think that is like what you're saying is so hard. Like knowing that you do have to be, when you're the person who's like, okay, I'll be the bigger person and step back in this case or whatever, right? But knowing that, okay, you're doing it for the kids, but then still navigating your own emotion, right? About like you're saying, like, well, I want to be in there. Like I like doing the field trips, but
you have to get over yourself a bit in those moments and just try to remember what's really important. And
so what tools did you use during those times? Did you,
I had a lot of baths where I just, when you need some Zen moments away from the chaos. I never actually liked baths until I needed time to get
lock
through
yourself
something.
in a room. And get through
exactly. Going to talk to someone. I think that there isn't a person in this world who wouldn't benefit from that for something in their life. And always just trying, I'm a fairly optimistic person. So just trying to look on the bright side and know how resilient I am, that I can get through hard things. And even though this is hard or this sucks right now, that tomorrow or next week is a new day, and this isn't forever. So let's try to make the most of some of those situations.
Yeah. I do agree with having somebody to talk to.
Oh, for sure.
I never, thought I would be that person, but now that I have a person that I talk to, now it's every 2 weeks. I feel like I need to have her on speed dial sometimes. I want to do, but it has changed my life. It has changed our family dynamics. It has changed the relationship with my husband.
For sure.
So, and now we're going to work with my relationship with my mom. I love my mom very much, but we have very different parenting styles, and she lives with us. And, I am the only child. So everything is a reflection of, her parenting, but it's not her fault.
That would be tricky.
Right? So just navigating that piece, because having your parents move in, and then we had loss at the beginning of the year. So dealing with that, and now having just one parent, there's a lot more relying on me. So if it's not, mommy, it's Isa. Because my mom calls me Isa. So there's always somebody needing me.
Right. Yeah. You're like, I just want to lock myself in a bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. I do take baths. I lock myself. But they're still knocking. What are you doing?
Right. Can I come in?
No.
When are you going to be done?
No. Please leave me alone for the love of God.
For the love of God.
So navigating those challenges is important to have somebody that actually has an idea of what the heck.
Even just to be able to say some of the things that are in your head out loud to somebody. Yeah. Sometimes it might not even be what they have to say back to you. It just is like having somebody to get all of this out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I journal too. I learned how to journal. And I told my husband, if you ever find my journal and you happen to read it, please don't. But if you happen to read it, just remember that was the moment I was feeling, and I was in the shit. I was in the weeds.
Yeah.
And I just needed to get it out so that it's not poisoning me on the inside. It's out. It's done. This
then
is
you can
not
move on.
Yeah,
How
I can
I
move
feel
on. And this is
necessarily now.
not necessarily how I feel right now.
Yes.
Because I went back to my journal and I read some of the stuff and I was like, holy man, this is some dark, deep, like nasty stuff. I would never want anybody to read it, hear it, or any of it. But I am complete with it.
Right.
It's on the page. I might just burn it.
You know, Danielle Laporte, she had this post once about burning her old journals. She was like, she's all about journaling. And then she was like, one day I thought to myself, but why am I keeping all this stuff? So she had like a journal burn fest and she just burned all the stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Next, let's not sugarcoat it.
We'll have a burning event.
We'll have a burning event.
Everybody bring your journals.
Everyone bring your journal. Oh my God, yes. And then we'll write all our darkest, deepest thoughts and burn them.
So, tell me, Pam, since we're on the topic,
waiting in anticipation.
No, I'm waiting for, because, you know, we're on the topic of parents and grandparents. What are some of the things that your parents taught you that you brought and still used with your parenting style? Did you catch yourself using some of this?
Well, yes. I think I grew up on a farm and like working hard was like the only answer. And so I think that maybe things are a little different now. But in my head, that like working hard and go, that's just who I am. And so I had a lot of times had to like sit back and go like, not everybody is like me. Not everybody was raised like me. This can't be the expectation for everybody else. If I want to continue having that expectation for myself, that's fine. But you have to have realistic expectations for your kids, your spouse, the rest of the people around you. So that's probably the one that I struggled the most with, because you just think, well, I would do it this way, or, you know, I would do all of these things.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody is the same way. So you need to figure out what makes other people tick and motivate them that way, instead of just like, you have to go out there and work your butt off.
Yeah.
So is your husband like a type A go-getter like you?
He is, no, I wouldn't say type A. He works hard.
That's a label you, sorry.
Yeah, no, that totally is, that is spot on. I think that if we both were, I don't think that it would work, because that would be too much for one household, I think. So he is much more relaxed than I am. But interestingly, we have so many of the same kind of like philosophies and just the way that we live life. And so although I'm a little bit more neurotic, like I said earlier, we really match very well. And it's so important, because otherwise you're like butting heads all the time. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think that's the same relationship with Lee and I. He's a little bit more chill, calm, cool, and collected. And I'm like, and I do still working on those like expectations, because I'm like, go, fast and furious. Let's get it done. No waiting around. And I do work with people who are not like that.
Yes.
And it is a big trigger for me. And I am learning to navigate that right now.
It's tricky.
It is.
Yeah. I've experienced that a bit in the chamber world, because at Sentes Automotive, if we want to like make a change or do something different, or we notice that something, I don't know, we can just think on the fly and be like, you know what, we're going to try this and see if we can make an improvement here. And we can just make that change and do it and react either like that went well, or we need to adjust a little bit more and then do it this way. But when you're part of an organization like the chamber, especially when you're on a governance board, you don't get involved in the doing of things.
Yeah.
And so I like struggled hard with that, because I would see that something needed to be done, but I'm not technically allowed to do it. So if you want to do those things, you have to be a staff member to do operational type things. And I'm an operational person. I'm like, okay, well, let's just do this.
Yeah.
So trying to like in different circumstances, like turn that side of me off a little bit and try to focus a bit more on the bigger picture strategy type things, but definitely does not come naturally to me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not. I am definitely a doer.
Yeah.
I plan and then execute.
Yes.
And
yes.
And when things are not, the processes and the hoops and the amount of people that need to get involved, I'm like, why?
Yes.
I just want to do it.
Let's just get it done. We would have been done months ago if we just started. And I know.
100%.
It's almost like I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
So being the woman of the year and doing all those kind of things, and then coming into the world where it's more male dominated. Tell us a little bit about how you wiggled your way in there. What are some of the struggles? I will have more, but I will stop there.
Okay. I have to remember 7 questions.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, no, I'm just
I'm going to stop myself.
Yeah.
Okay, so because I think growing up on a farm, my dad was like this, get in there and work hard. You have to have a good handshake. He just was, I don't know, he just taught me that type of work ethic. None of that other stuff came into play. I just went in there and was the hardest working person on the team and willing to do whatever. So it's not like, well, that's not on my job description. I'm not going to do that. When I first started working at the dealerships, we needed somebody to pull the weeds in between the dealership and another business because the president of the company was coming and across Canada and couldn't find anybody. So I went home, got my weed whacker and put on some detail uniforms, some coveralls, and went and did it myself. And then, one time we needed to rezone a piece of property. We owned a residential property that we wanted to rezone to commercial. Not one single clue how to do that, but I'm okay getting in there and working through that feeling of like that, of not knowing what you're doing and that uncomfortableness, whatever the word is. So I just go in and work hard and figure it out.
Yeah.
And so this company is just amazing that it doesn't matter who you are, what your title is. If you have that type of work ethic and ability to just do whatever needs to be done, then the path kind of made itself. So I'm very grateful for that. And actually, Tracy Medvey, she is, I can't remember exactly, president of Kelowna Flightcraft. That might not be exactly right, but she's very high up there at Kelowna Flightcraft. And at the Women in Business conference that was like a month ago, we asked that same question, like, how did you navigate this male-dominated industry? And she kind of said the same thing where it's like,
oh, yeah, she did.
You just, if it doesn't matter to you, then it doesn't matter to them. And I think in a lot of cases, you have one bad egg or something who makes things challenging. But if you go in and just everybody, doesn't make a difference, then in so many cases, it doesn't actually make a difference to them either. So you just keep going and doing the very best, giving 110%. I pretty much don't do anything that I don't want to give 110% to. So makes it easy to kind of find your way.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I mean, I, in my previous life, I had a interior design company and it was very much male dominated. You're working with the trades. And
right.
I found that when you came in hard, as a woman to stamp your ground, I'm the boss, you didn't get very far. You needed to use your softer side,
right,
to get what you want. Really, at the end of the day, we're there.
Yes,
doing the things that we need for our clients and for the company. So, yeah, I do feel like what you're saying. If you don't care, and then if somebody comes and steps on your toe, then you let them know. But
yeah, interestingly, I was at a seminar on Friday, and one of the other like students in this class was asking. It was about emotional intelligence. And one of the questions was like, what do I do when I'm in a meeting and my male manager is asking or like interrupts and starts talking over me? And I mean, I would just say like, hey, sorry, can I just finish my thought? But for some people, being able to just say that simple thing isn't that simple. And they get all worked up and then they don't know what to do and don't know what to say. And then they make it a bigger deal. And then it becomes something that it doesn't need to be. And so, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter who was interrupting or talking over me. I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
If it was a woman or if it was a man.
Exactly.
Right. I see what you're saying. And then it can turn into a bigger deal if someone's like, oh, but it was this male who interrupted me and then blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
Right.
Have you ever gotten emotional? That's a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Good
speaking
question.
of emotional,
100%.
you know, because like a lot of people say, oh, you know, girls cry. You get so emotional. I mean, we are emotional creatures. That's how we release our stress and we don't do other things.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah. And again, I don't think that maybe it is because I'm a girl, but I mean, if that's an emotion that I'm feeling, I just think that's because that's an emotion I'm feeling, not necessarily because I'm a girl. So I think one of the things that people say about me, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but is that I'm authentic. Like I'm not trying to BS anybody. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. So if being emotional in that moment is how I feel, then I feel that. However, sometimes you have to know when might not be an appropriate time where you need to use your own strategies on like what else could you do in that situation so that it turns out the best for you. So one of the things that I've coached some of the other female employees on is that, you know, sometimes you do get all worked up and like having a conversation with somebody in that moment might not be the right time. Yeah. So you need to go for a walk around the block. You need to go grab a coffee. You need to like not deal with it at all today. Maybe that's a tomorrow thing. So I think just knowing when, like what the circumstance is and knowing how best to handle it. But I'm
recognizing when the conversation is not going to go anywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
And then taking a moment and taking a break.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So, that is
for sure.
One of the power of communication things that we talked about is knowing when to say, okay, this isn't going anywhere. Let's take a break, but then have a time on when we're going to come back to it.
Yeah.
And not then go away and percolate on how you're going to cut that person and win, right? And just take a step back and say, okay, where are they coming from? How am I contributing to this breakdown? And what kind of breakthrough can we have?
Yeah, what can be done to get a resolution?
Not prove your point. Or, which is hard to do sometimes. Yeah.
So what are some of the barriers you're facing today, like in like at work? Like, you know, with being on top, being at your prime, what are like some of the challenges that you're facing that, you know, you didn't expect to be facing?
I don't know if I didn't expect it, but because I'm a person who's like, yep, absolutely, I can take that on. Yep, I will figure that out. You get to a point where the amount of sheer tasks that you have to do is a bit overwhelming. So like trying to make sure that you find that you're the most efficient and you're doing things in a way that you can actually get all of the things done that you need to get done. We say eating the frog. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but there's some tasks that you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's like
taxes.
On your, it's on your list like every day for like 3 months.
You just move it over.
It's just like so much weight on your shoulders. And so we have a saying, we learned it at some training like 10 years ago, that you eat the frog, get it over and done with first. And then you feel like so much lighter and more kind of energized to do the rest of the things. So I also didn't expect to have so many, I mean, I never thought that I would be part of the chamber, let alone be the president. So trying to find the balance of making sure I make up enough time that I'm taking away from work to still get all of the things that need to be done, and try not to have it take away too much from, you know, family life, and trying to find that balance of doing all of the things at 110%. It's tricky, but it is super rewarding when you're feeling like you're kind of on top of things. And then you have weeks like I had last week where I was like exhausted. And at the training I went to on Friday, this lady played some video and I burst into tears, like just exhausted and crying for no reason.
Right.
So then I spent the weekend, trying to recharging and trying to get back on track. So just trying to like find the balance of doing all the things and still being not an empty cup.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you look on fire today, so you must have forgiven.
Feeling much better.
Feeling better.
Going to the gym I want it to do things for my body, but I think what it really does is helps me get through things mentally. And when I stop going to the gym, that's when I can feel, I don't know, I'm not as light. I'm, thinking, I'm not as optimistic. I'm not feeling as resilient. And so even though I have to get up an ungodly hour to get to the gym, it's so important to be able to stay on top of things and feel like I'm not going to pass out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's like why it's such a thing now too, in like, if people are depressed, it's like one of the first things that's prescribed to someone, right? Is like on top of all the other stuff, like, are you exercising?
Yes.
Because it's such a mental like uplift. Right?
You don't even really realize it. I've noticed it last year. It was actually at the Chamber Social. I just was talking to one of the directors and I just said, like, I'm feeling so like, you just feel so heavy.
Yeah.
And in that conversation, I realized that I hadn't been to the gym for like a month. And so instead of like making excuses and feeling crappy, I'm like, you know what? I just need to get back into it. And so the next day got back into going to the gym. And I mean, at the time I was going 3 days a week and it just, I don't know, makes things, it makes it easier to get through things, even if you have to get up early to get there.
Yeah. When we were going all the time at 6, you go a lot.
Yeah.
But I felt like it was so nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It sets me up for the day. I mean, I'm in that slump right now. I actually went today. I said, that's it. Enough is enough, because it's been over a month and a bit. I mean, I had a kidney infection, then I got a tattoo, and then I got the cold, and then now we're here.
Yeah.
But this weekend, I felt sluggish. I felt just not myself. I felt like this negative talk in my head where I beat myself up started up.
Yeah.
The wheel started turning. That hamster went back on. I'm like, oh no, you're getting off
Yes.
the wheel today.
Yeah.
So I went today.
Good.
And I already feel so much better. And I know 6 a.m., like some people think it's like super early, which is, but I go to bed also, you know, with the children.
Yes.
9:30, I'm in bed. So getting up at, 5:20, I have a 5:20 club, 5 a.m. 20. So yeah, I do feel a lot. I can do a lot more.
Well, I actually get up at 4:10. I'm most productive in the morning. And so I like do a load of laundry. I empty the dishwasher, take the dog out, put my makeup on. I actually go to the gym looking like this, only for the simple fact that if I had to like actually get ready after the gym, I probably wouldn't go because then I'd get to work too late. But I feel way more productive in like the first 2 hours of the day, and most people are still sleeping.
Yeah.
But there's no chance that I could do it after work.
Do you go to bed early?
Yes. Yeah. I would say if I make it to 9 o'clock, I'm lucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you are superhuman.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother-in-law used to get up at 4 a.m. too. Like she's done it for years. She's always gotten up at 4 a.m. And she says like she does the most work between 4 and 6 for sure.
Exactly.
But I was just always like, whoa. But I think she goes to bed at like 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Sometimes 7:30.
Yeah.
So how does that affect your marriage, right? Because I mean, like I see you're like all the events.
Right.
And then you come home, you go to bed, then you get to the gym, you're working all day.
Well, my husband works from home, and because if I go to the gym in the morning, I'm at work by 7 a.m. So I'm home between 3 and 4 most days on the days that I don't have events to go to.
Yeah.
And just try to like schedule dates in and, try to like carve out some time to make sure that we stay connected. I mean, it's challenging.
Yeah.
But
how did you two meet?
Plenty of fish.
Oh,
nice. Yeah. Woo-woo. Amazing.
He might kill me for saying that. But, yeah.
Wasn't that like one of the first dating apps? It's funny because I used to shoot weddings. I had a photography company. And when I shot my first wedding, and you know how people tell their stories, how did you meet? And they said, Plenty of Fish.
Yeah.
The whole room was like, it was such taboo.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to be guilty as charged. I even went and I talked to, my boyfriend, or maybe he was my husband then, going, oh my gosh, they've met online. Yes. How dirty. No.
Well, because it was so hard. Like back then it was weird, but now that's how everyone meets.
Yeah. Yeah. So it just, how quickly it became the norm, and meeting people, now when we say, well, we met the old way, we actually met at a bar. People are like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, that's the weird way.
They should have invented it and then opened a winery too. Damn it. What were we thinking?
Oh my goodness.
Crap.
That's so funny. Oh, wow. Yeah. So what do you like to do for fun besides going and doing events and speaking at things?
And eating crab.
Yeah. I mean, those are all on the list. I've just always been a worker. And so I really enjoy like quiet being at home time, spending time with the family and the dog. But I'm not like doing sports or going skiing. I like to find ways to connect with girlfriends, even outside of some of these other events, being intentional about, especially after COVID, I'm like, okay, well, we need to make sure that we're like pre-scheduling, okay, like once a quarter, we're going to do this. And then the next quarter, we're going to like in that in that like dinner or whatever, we're going to like schedule the next thing. So just, I think the people part is what I find fun outside of doing all of the rest of the people part.
Yeah.
Okay, tell the people the fun fact about your glasses. How many glasses do you own? She likes to match her glasses to her outfit. She looks amazing today. Yeah.
Okay, so I was probably like 14 years ago or so. I've worn glasses for a long time, but I discovered Clearly contacts, and glasses were like $10. And so like, why wouldn't? And I had some glasses coverage through work. So like you could get a lot of glasses for $10 coverage. And so over the years, I probably collected 70 pairs of glasses and all different colors and styles. And then like 6 months ago, I discovered Pair Eyewear online, and you buy one pair of glasses and then you just get different colored toppers. It's the best thing ever. Now I only have to have one pair, and then I can have all of my toppers in my car door, so that I'm like, okay, what am I wearing today? Green. All right. Now I have green glasses. I have a promo code if anybody wants to save some money. But yeah, I mean, my husband wants laser eye surgery. He's like, wouldn't you want to get that too? And I'm like, no, this is my fashion accessory.
Identity.
This is who I am.
Yeah. I do like I did get about 9 years ago, laser surgery, and I was blind as a bat. And because I do sports, snowboarding in the winter, and we lived in Edmonton.
It's a pain.
And going outside -30 and with glasses, even to shovel the sidewalk, like you cannot see,
right.
So it was either contacts, or I remember one time I fell asleep with my contact lenses, and then I wake up and that feeling of, I can see. And I actually thank God for giving me my sight back. And then the pain of the dryness kicked in. I'm like, oh no, shit, that's
just
my contacts, right? So that's when I was like, no, I really want to have. And then my husband would play games. Like I would leave my glasses somewhere, and I would get my nose down to the surface and scan, and he would like move them, right? So then I'm like, okay,
it's time.
It's time. I'm done. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, but it is what it is. We do what we what we need to do. But I do love the glasses on you. I sometimes, want the fake glasses.
Yeah.
My children buy the fake glasses because they're trendy.
Totally.
Not like when I was back in the day.
No, and they were like nerdy back in the day.
Literally, they were like the
take up
size
your whole
of
face.
when I smiled, my cheekbones would move them up and down. So the glasses were not in my future. Well,
even now I look back at the glasses that I bought 14 years ago. I'm like, oh God, I would never wear those now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, give us some words of wisdom to women who, are striving or wanting to become a success like you.
The best thing that I can say is just do something. Just start. I didn't join the BC Cancer Foundation's Discovery Luncheon because I had like a major passion for that. Although 1 in 2 people are going to get cancer. So it's like, that's something that most people should be passionate about trying to give back for. But that's not why I did it. I got told, basically voluntold to do it. And then you create this passion for something that you didn't know you had. Mm-hmm. So I spoke at the Kelowna Women in Business kickoff event this year. I'm not sure exactly when it was, but I think people feel like they have to have it all figured out and they have to be really passionate and they have to, have all the answers. But you don't. You just do one thing and then that leads you to the next thing and the next thing, or it doesn't because you figure out that you don't actually want to do that and then you just do something else. Mm-hmm. Building connection with people, showing up to events. One of the best things that I ever did was show up to a networking event by myself, which scared the crap out of me. I'm like, I do not want to do this. I am not going to know anybody. What am I going to say? I was like, I did not want to do it. But Nikki Check was the president of the chamber at the time. And she said, that's your job. You need to show up by yourself. Don't have a wing woman or man to be your support system. Go there and talk to the members. That's your job. Mm-hmm. And so that was like the beginning of knowing that you can do hard things and do things that make you feel uncomfortable, and you get through it and you feel so much better on the other side. And so lots of people don't show up to things because they're uncomfortable or, they don't know anybody and they don't know what they're going to do. Just do it anyway. Mm-hmm. There's lots of other people in the exact same situation as you. Or reach out to somebody who can be your safe place. And so that's kind of why I created this whole ladies happy hour thing, because there's so many people who find networking and like finding that connection really awkward. And this way, this like genuine, no agenda, no like, here's my business card kind of thing, just like genuinely getting to know people and creating that community. You feel like you can take on the world when you know that there are people like cheering for you in the background. So
I like that. I love that networking event too, how you have the different colors.
Oh, yes.
And Corrine, how she definitely is a good networker. So the one day I went and she was there and she's like, well, I put it half the color so that the people who are intimidated still feel like I'm approachable.
That is so funny.
Cute.
Yeah. Yes. Having like, if you write your name in blue, you are like a natural networker. You find this super easy. And if you are not a natural networker and you're only here because you're forcing yourself to be, then you write in green. And then basically one lady I knew was really uncomfortable. And she had said like, thank you for saying that this is something to help get you at the next event to like know a couple people so that it just becomes more comfortable. So she's written in green and she was talking to somebody and that conversation naturally ended. And then that person walked away to talk to somebody else. And she's standing there like, you could just see this look of like terror on her face, like what's next? And then a blue person can, zoom in and rescue her. Aww. And so like just to try to make it comfortable for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like what you said about, taking chances and being able to reinvent yourself, because we sometimes get stuck in this is what I'm supposed to do. And there's this fear of, taking a chance. And having faith in yourself that you can actually do the things you're passionate about.
Right. Or you can at least try. And I always say that even for my team, let's try something new. And if it doesn't work, that isn't failure. We learn something new and we pivot and, go to the next step.
Yeah.
So
we learned that it's not working for us. So now we got to change it and take something else.
Yeah. You either win or you learn.
Yeah.
And I love that saying where there's there's no failure. Yeah. You have to, go through those stumbling blocks to get to the other side. And man, the other side is so good. But you have to get through that being uncomfortable and going outside of your comfort zone to get to that other side.
And find really what it is that you truly want. Because like you said, you went to school for education and, 1 year in, you're like, nope.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But most people will stay in that career and not take the chance because it's like, oh my gosh, I did that.
Or I put all the money into it.
That's what my family said.
Yeah.
You just spent the last 7 years of your life going to school, spending the money that's such a waste. But it never is a waste because all of that experience gets you to where you are today. And I mean, I didn't know that I was going to like automotive either. But at the time I was like, oh, what am I going to do with my life after I spend a decade basically planning to be a teacher? But you just try some things until you find what works for you. And thankfully, I think my lucky stars that I somehow found automotive and it became a really great place for my life and my career. And they'll be kicking me out. I don't plan on going anywhere else.
She's not leaving.
I think it was your attitude towards hard work and your dedication that somebody saw something in you and took a chance, but you proved that to them.
Right.
It was you.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but the main thing is that I knew that I wasn't enjoying the teaching thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so when you know it's wrong, then even though it's a scary thing to be like, hey, I'm going to quit this career that I just spent all this time trying to achieve, and I'm going to go and work in automotive. If you would have told me, more than 15 years ago that was going to be a great idea, I would have been like, no way. But
you never know, and then until you take a chance,
that action, and that, and have you ever read Marie Forleo's book where she says that she has a story sort of similar in the beginning where she's like, she had done all this stuff, she had prepared for something, and then she says to her dad, I hate it, I'm going to quit. And he's like, what do you mean you're going to quit? And she's like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And then the whole thing in her book is how everything's figure outable.
Yes.
And she built this empire from that moment because she was like, all I know is I hate it and I need to take action to get out of it or this is my life.
And life is too short for that.
Yeah. That's how, we ended up in Kelowna. I just told my husband, I said, I'm done. We have nothing in Kelowna, but I want a plane ticket to Kelowna, a realtor, and a for sale sign on my house in Edmonton. And we did that. And then things just started opening up and the universe is like, well, here and here. And then, July, we were moving.
It's amazing.
It's just, you put it out there, you take your chance, and then things will just suddenly appear. Things that weren't available.
Yeah.
Because you didn't ask for them.
Right.
You didn't take that step.
Yep.
So. You weren't open for them. Yeah, for sure.
Well, Kelowna's better because you're here.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, that was a nice thing to say.
That's so
true.
Nice.
That's
now you're going to make me cry.
And it's okay to do that.
And it's okay to feel your feelings.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have some
rapid fire questions. I knew I left my phone on for a reason. I turned it off, but I do remember the first one, which was, is there something that in parenting that you knew that you were from your own upbringing, you were like, I am not going to do that?
Oh, see, it's supposed to be rapid fire and my brain isn't thinking fast enough. My dad was did not allow any freedom. And you feel absolutely smothered. Now, did I expect a lot of things and kind of we wanted hard work? Yes, but I didn't want to be a smotherer. They need to be able to have freedom and make mistakes and learn and be their own people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can relate. I was in a household where I was not allowed. So I snuck out.
Right.
I don't want my kids sneaking out. So I am going to let them walk to Dairy Queen 3 kilometers down the mountain.
I snuck out once and my dad came and found me. So that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And that was that. Okay. Well, what was the most important lesson you learned as a child?
It's a good question. I mean, after talking about hard work all this time, that kind of is like the thing that has led me through life. So I'd probably go back to that. I know that's not very creative, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
And okay. Yeah. What is the best thing your parents ever taught you? You kind of mentioned something before, but what do you think the best life lesson they taught you is?
Well, I grew up in a split family too. So my dad always said, like, I'm not smarter than you. So like, you ask your parents for help or can you, like, what's the answer to this or whatever? And he's like, I'm not smarter than you. You can figure this out. So like you said from the book, everything is figure outable, also known as being a solutionator. Like I can figure out anything. So that's probably from my dad. And my mom is like the most thoughtful, like caring person. And so, I mean, as a teenager and whatever, you're very like egocentric. You're not really thinking about the people around you, but now trying to really be mindful of those around me and doing, like remembering people's birthdays, simple as that. Like she had everybody's birthdays on the calendar and she would never miss a birthday wish. So just trying to be a bit more, a bit kinder, a bit more like going out of your way to be connected to people and show kindness.
I love it. And then last question, what's one of the greatest things that your children have taught you?
Oh, that is a great question. I think that, patience is definitely one of them. But also, I didn't know that I needed to learn this, but that we are all individuals and that they, even though are only 2 years apart, are so different, are totally different personalities, interested in totally different things. And I mean, you learn about this stuff in like when you're a leader within a company, but it's also so important to remember in your home where different things motivate different your different kids, and that it's important to really focus on what makes them different.
Love that. That's so great.
Yeah, that's awesome. We're going through the same thing. I'm twin identical, so we're struggling with that identity, and they are completely opposite. And
interesting.
And yeah, they're fighting for their individuality. And
right.
My parenting styles need to change. What we do with them needs to change. We're in this like evolution of what and who we're gonna be for our children.
How old are they?
They're going to be 11 on December 2nd.
Wow.
So soon.
So
yeah.
soon. Dun, dun, dun. And then we'll have teenagers.
Yeah.
But anyways,
thank you for being here.
So much for coming and
it's my pleasure.
This time. Lovely as always.
It was so nice to learn about you.
Happy to get to know you guys as well.
You too.
Oh, wait, where can people find you if they look for you? Everywhere, but like
everywhere. I'm on LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook and pretty open with that kind of stuff. And if there's ladies out there wanting to get some genuine connection, we've got Ladies Happy Hour coming up on Thursday, and we do it like every couple of months. Yeah. One of the best things about that is that it's less about me and more about everybody else connecting with each other and supporting one another. So we have a whole list of all of the events that they are doing so that the ladies can go to each other's events and show up and support when it works for their schedule.
Love it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Until next time.
Bye.
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 We hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you feel more empowered, moved, and inspired.
Be sure to check out the show's description and follow us on social media at Let's Not Sugarcoat It Podcast on both Instagram and Facebook.
Also, check out our YouTube channel where you can view and subscribe to our latest episodes.
What you have to say matters, so send us your feedback and ideas on what you'd like us to talk about so we can serve you better.
And remember, motherhood is a team sport.